Hello, everyone. How are we doing today? Okay. If you're anything like me, you may have a hard time sitting still for long periods of time, so I'm going to get you guys all to stand up. Is everybody up? Okay, cool. So we're all going to take a minute, and we're going to relive my teenage years, and we're going to dance to a song that you all know, I'm sure. So, don't have to be a pro dancer, it's just for fun, okay? Are we ready? Like, come on. Are we ready? All right, let's go. Oh, I forgot to click my shit. Sorry. Next slide. Wait, go back. Apparently my slide's not there anymore. Okay, there you go. We're good. It's the one that was at the beginning that I gave the slide. Okay. Here we go. Are we ready? Okay, come on, guys. Like, move it a little bit more. Like, come on. Okay, you can't sit down yet. Okay, I don't know. These slides are not they're out of line. It's okay. All right. Okay, I'm going to ask you 4 questions. If the answer is yes, I want you to stay standing. If the answer is no, I want you to sit down. So my first question is, have you ever asked yourself what you want in life? Okay, everyone, cool. Have you ever set a goal for yourself and shared it with someone else only for them to tell you you can't achieve it and you probably won't be able to achieve it? Okay. Have you ever felt embarrassed or ashamed of something that you've been through? So everyone's saying, okay, cool. When you did get clear on something you want, have you always taken action steps to get that goal? All right, look at you go. Yes, we should talk later. You can sit down now. All right, now, who is Stephanie? You're probably wondering who I am. My name's Stephanie. I'm French-Canadian. I was born and raised in southern Manitoba in a French town just south of Winnipeg. Does anyone know where Winnipeg is? Okay, we got a few. Perfect. Awesome. So, not long after, in my 20s, I actually moved over to the east coast of Canada, which thanks to Caroline right here, I think you guys might know of this place now. It's make-believe, but it's called New Brunswick. Okay? So that's where I started to sell real estate, and eventually I moved back to Winnipeg as well, and I became a team leader at Keller Williams. I am passionate about raising awareness for mental health. I'm an auntie to 7 nieces and nephews. I'm obviously the cool aunt. And, yeah, that's me. All right. So before I move on, because I feel like I'm just going to give you guys a little geography lesson, because I feel like most people, when I talk and I explain where I am in Canada or that I'm from Canada, they're always like, awesome, I have a friend in Vancouver. I've been to the airport, that's it. Or they're like, Toronto. Also only been to the airport. So apparently I have a laser beam here. Okay, so right here is Winnipeg. It's really cold in the winter. It's right above North Dakota and Minnesota. I don't know why people live there. And then over here, we have Moncton, New Brunswick. This is that make-believe place that apparently is just make-believe. So it's by the Atlantic Ocean and it's above Maine. So now you guys are going to know a little bit where the places are. Do we know a little bit more? Did I teach you guys something? Okay, cool. There was my question slide, but we're going to skip over it now. So what are your wants in life? This is definitely not an easy question to ask ourselves. I know I've struggled with knowing what I want. I've asked people what they want, and they struggle with answering this question. And so what I'd like you guys to do right now is take out your notepads, and I'd like you guys just to reflect for a minute, and I'd like you guys to write down a few things that you want in life. Now, I know we got some realtors in the room and stuff, and you guys might be like, let me put down my production goals. Like, those are great goals. No, I want you guys to think outside of that. What do you want to do? Do you want to run a 5K marathon? Do you want to build a school in Africa? Do you want to be able to go away on vacation for a month at a time and not worry and that your business can still run without you? Write some of these things down. Does anyone want to share something? We want to create a foundation for children with autism. I love that. Let's give them a round of applause. All right, so when I was 21 years old, I was diagnosed with clinical depression. Now, recently, we've actually figured out I actually also have ADHD that was just never diagnosed. This is very common for a lot of females to only get diagnosed in their 30s. I'd like to mention that it actually can be a superpower when you are a realtor because we thrive on deadlines. So if you give me like, okay, it's Thursday, we got to have everything done by Friday, like it's go time. Like, we excel. Now, one of the symptoms of depression is something that I like to call ugly crying. Now, this isn't like a couple shed tears. This is a full-on 6-year-old meltdown at a Toys R Us coming from a full-grown adult. Now, you can do this from the comfort of your own home, perhaps a parked vehicle, or my all-time favorite, in front of people who least expect it, making them feel very, very uncomfortable. Now, this wasn't a want for me, and yet I'm happy to share that I've mastered that over the years. My 20s, I had a lot of ups and downs, even to this day. I remember like a huge want for me, I just wanted to feel happy. That's all I wanted. I just didn't want to go through the downs, feeling sad, the crying that could last days or weeks or months. That's all I wanted. Nothing else seemed to matter for me. I just wanted to feel happy. I share this story because quite frankly, I don't think we talk about mental health enough. I know it's been brought up this week, which is awesome. And I know that I'm not alone. And that if I can share my story and help just one person, then I'm perfectly okay with sharing my story. So eventually, I moved over to the East Coast of Canada. I got my real estate license in 2014. And in 2016, I remember taking a course that I'm sure some of you in this room probably have taken it. And it was a lot about changing your mindset, thinking bigger, getting more sales, all that fun stuff. I remember there was an instructor, and I loved her. She was great, and she just made you feel like you could do anything. And I remember in that moment, I was like, I want to do this. Like, I want to be able to come in front of people and share and help do what she was doing for us in that room. There was also a lot of emphasis on our sales and how many homes to sell, all that fun stuff. Now, don't get me wrong, these are great things to have. You should know your numbers, track all that stuff. And yet, it's really important to make sure that when you're setting these goals for yourself, for your sales, and your income and all that stuff, set them for you. It doesn't matter what the other people are doing. Set your goal for you. And don't set it to try to prove yourself to other people. Has anyone done that? Does anyone feel that way sometimes? They feel like they should sell more and do more because other people are? Yeah. I remember after that, setting a lot of, I did the same thing. I want to set my goals on money, and I want to set my goals on my sales. And I'm going to tell you guys, I'm not motivated by money. I like money. I like to spend it, but I'm not motivated by it. I would compare myself to everyone all the time. You know, that compare game that's not helpful at all. I started to base my value on this, and I chased validation from my peers, from other people, and I was trying to just be the best of the best. Because when you're the best, you get a praise, you get an award from your brokerage, and you feel good. And when you're the best, that's when you can help people. Only when you're the best you can help, right? No. I remember feeling lost. I didn't really know what I wanted. I just knew I wanted to do something different. And I was basing my goals on what other people felt was success in this industry, not basing my goals on what I wanted. I remember going to a conference in 2018. There was this guy that I went to high school with. He grew up in my hometown. He was a self-made millionaire at 27 years old. So I thought, I'm going to go check him out, see what he has to say. I remember him sharing with us something that I still remember to this day. And he said, people would ask him, how did you do what you've done? And he said, here's the thing. I can give anyone a plan from A to Z of what to do to achieve what I've done. And yet, if they don't have the right mindset, they will struggle. And I'd say also, if you're not passionate about what you're going after, you're also going to struggle. I remember listening to the speakers like we've done over the last couple of days, and I remember just feeling inspired. They got up on stage, they shared their stories, they shared these vulnerable parts of themselves, and I was like, I want to do this. But I told myself, no, I can't do it until I'm the best. I got to be the best. I got to sell the most homes. I got to be a millionaire. Maybe I got to sell as many homes as Kenny Fast. And we don't need to. You don't need to be the best of the best. Because let's be honest, does anyone really want to hear someone come up on stage and talk about how perfect they are and how they have everything figured out in life? It's not reality. We want to hear from people who share vulnerable parts of their stories with us so that we can learn and grow. These events, just like many others that I've been to, they help me get a little bit more clear on what I want. And I really want to be able to help other people remove their limiting beliefs in order to achieve things that they really want in life for themselves. I also want to raise money for mental health. I also want to take a trip on a private jet with friends. I want to travel whenever I see fit. And I want an endless supply of Prosecco. And don't worry, it's ever-changing, figuring out what you want. Now, what makes up your story? When you think about your life so far in life, there's lots of stories that have happened for you. And I guarantee not all of them are good ones, right? Okay, thank you. There's like good moments, right, that we go through, and we tend to see them a lot on social media. It's plastered all over social media, right? Things like getting married, getting engaged, reaching a sales production goal, things like that. But there's other moments in life that we don't always share. We don't talk about as much, right? Things like maybe not reaching your production goal. Maybe you drink too much, or you did drink too much. Failed relationships, mental health struggles. These sometimes are really hard to think about, and yet these stories, just like the good stories, they helped you get you here today. And there is something to learn from the highs and lows that we go through in life, if we choose to. I remember back when I started in real estate, I'd like to share with all of you that I absolutely killed it in my first year. And by killed it, I sold a grand total of 5 homes. Woo! Unlike in California, 5 homes is not a lot. It's actually intimidating to share with all of you guys. I know there's some big producers in this room. But here's the thing. It's part of my story. And I know there's other people that start their career and they don't do well, and it helps to be able to connect with somebody who's been there, who understands. And that's why I share. And the thing is that there's always going to be somebody selling more homes than I do, and that is perfectly okay as long as I'm leading the life that I want. Would you agree? Perfect. I remember going on a trip on my 30th birthday. I went to El Salvador. Super random place to go. If you do decide to go, don't Google El Salvador and travel advisories, because it tells you things like make sure you have somebody at home to appoint to in case you need somebody to negotiate your ransom. I don't know. And if you go, maybe go with a local. Super fun trip. I was doing some things that I wanted to be doing. I remember coming home, and I knew that I wanted to do more than just sell homes, but I just really wasn't sure where I wanted to start. I remember, I was doing more things that made me happy, like traveling, spending time with my family, and I thought I cared a little bit less what people thought. Or so I thought. But I still cared. I cared what people thought. I cared what people thought of me. I didn't want to share my stories to people unless you were really, really close to me. I remember I was dating a guy, and actually, this guy actually mentioned that he had a psychologist that told him he had a tendency of dating women with significant issues. I don't know, right? Thank you. And obviously, I didn't want to share my struggles, and I wanted him to believe that everything was perfect in my life. And I made a goal for myself, I'm not going to cry in front of this guy. Who here thinks I reached that goal? No one? You're right. You're right. Things went well until they weren't, and he decided to end the relationship. And usually you get to kind of leave, cry, go home, you're fine. But luckily for me, I had drank a bottle of wine. I had no vehicle, and we had to be at a real estate conference in 6 hours. Yeah. So we went to the conference the next morning, and I just remember feeling discouraged, depressed, down. I don't know, not feeling good. And I remember looking at him and saying, I have nothing to lose. I'm just going to share my stuff. So I told him it, and he looked at me and he's like, you kind of sound like you're embarrassed and ashamed of things that you've been through. And I'm like, yeah, pretty much. And I remember him looking at me and saying, I think you need to find the positive out of the negative stuff. And I was like, positive that I wanted to cause him physical harm. But I didn't. We went to the conference, and I remember this guy got up on stage, and he started dancing. And I remember thinking to myself, I was annoyed because I had paid $300. I didn't pay $300 to watch some random guy dance on stage at a mandatory real estate conference. If I'm going to pay $300 to watch a guy dance on stage, there better be some magic and a guy named Mike. Now, within moments, he had captivated all of our attention, and he eventually put up this slide. Who here thinks they know what he said after this with this slide? Anybody? No? I'll tell you. You guys should find the positive out of the negative. And in that moment, I was positive that I wanted to cause physical harm to 2 people that day. But in all seriousness, he was a great speaker. He captivated everyone's attention. His speech wasn't even about real estate. And I just knew, I wanted to do this. So, thanks to this guy, I'm here in front of you guys. You're welcome. I don't want to give credit to my ex, but that day, I really needed to hear what they said that day. I needed to hear what their messages were. It was time for me to accept the good and the bad of my story. It was because everything that has happened to me, it just makes up my story. Same with you guys. And you just can't have the highs without the lows. It sometimes really takes those lows to learn and grow and to move forward. All right. Are you listening to the naysayers? So I'd like for all of you guys to think of a time when you had a goal for yourself and you shared it with somebody and they told you couldn't do it. But you went ahead and did it anyways. How did that make you feel? How? Great, awesome. What about anyone else? All good? Powerful? Validated? All right. Now, think of a time where you told somebody about a goal you wanted to achieve, and they looked at you and they told you all the reasons why you can't do it, and you listened to them, and you didn't go after that goal. How did that make you feel? Not good? The crazy part is it's oftentimes your friends and family because they're just trying to keep you safe. And another thing is it's oftentimes people who have never even achieved what you're trying to do. And I know I'm not alone. We all go through this. I've probably even been somebody who's done that to somebody. And here's the thing. The problem lies is when we listen to them. You got to not listen to them. So going back, I was actually a hairstylist before I became a realtor in Montreal, and this was at the time that I was diagnosed with depression. I remember I was talented, I loved doing it, I specialized in hair coloring, and I remember telling the owner, because I was about to get a chair rental, and I remember telling the owner about what I was going through, and he looked at me and said, Steph, I don't know, maybe now's not the time. Maybe now's not the time that you go and get your own chair rental. So I listened. And I quit not long after. And I remember feeling embarrassed and ashamed. I had taken this moment to share something that I've been through with my mental health, and I felt less for it. I remember after this, I didn't share my story much with people because I I felt a lot of shame and embarrassment. Now, like the speakers had said, you got to find the positive or the negative. And obviously, I eventually became a hairstylist instructor, and I eventually got into real estate, and now I'm in front of all of you guys. So here's the positive. Now, I remember I really wanted to teach this class at my brokerage. I had realized with the help of a coach, I wanted to do this. I wanted to help teach, give back to others. And yet, he told me that I couldn't. He told me that I couldn't because I wasn't enough of a top producer. And it's really fucking hard in those moments to think, I'm not good enough. How am I going to be able to help somebody else if my own, my peer won't even thinks I can't do it? I'm not good enough. It was hard to persevere after this. Luckily, I had a coach, and he told me, it had nothing to do with me and everything to do with him and his limiting beliefs. And he told me it might just be time for me to change environment, which I did not long after. I remember I had a goal of wanting to travel back and forth from New Brunswick, which you all know where that is now, and Manitoba. Now you all know where that is too. Perfect. And I remember everyone was like, why are you going to do that? How are you going to do that? All this stuff, Guess what? I'm here doing it. I fly back and forth every few months. And I also wanted a goal to go down south because I hate winter. I hate the cold. So just this year, I spent a month in California in the winter. The common factors is that I listened to what other people said. There were naysayers saying I couldn't achieve or couldn't do something. And there were people putting limitations on what I wanted to achieve. We all go through this, right? Right? Thank you. It is very important for you guys to surround yourself with the right people. I think you guys are in a room with the right people because your people around you will either bring you up or they will bring you down. It's your life and no one else's, so live it the way that you want. Now, what first steps can you take to go towards something you want to achieve? I think the most important thing is mindset. You got to start believing in yourself and believe that you can do it. Because if you don't believe in yourself that you can do it, who will? Right? Right? Okay, thank you. So once you get clear on what you want, accept everything that you've been through, and you surround yourself with the right people who are going to encourage you, you have to start by taking that first step. For me, that first step was hiring my first coach. I remember, if I wanted to change my life, I wanted to do something different, I had to do something different. So I hired a coach. I remember it no longer was just about sales and numbers and all this stuff. It was actually about what I wanted to be doing with my life. It's great to do this business and to make money and all that stuff, but what are you doing with the money you make? How are you living your life? And I remember one of my first things, I told him I want to take a trip to Bali. Super random place, but overseas seemed like a dream place to go. And even though I had hired him for my sales business, my first assignment was to book a plane ticket to Bali. That's it. He just said, just book the ticket. So I did. Very simple step, just book the ticket. Booked it, I went, super awesome trip. Has anyone been to Bali? Isn't it awesome? Oh yeah, you guys can put it on your bucket list if you'd like, if you want. Now, going back to that day of the conference with that speaker, that was the last place I wanted to be that day. I was a hot mess. I don't even think I brushed my hair that morning. And I'm pretty sure I was wearing clothes from 2 days before, but it's fine. I went up to the speaker after he had spoken, and I shared with him that I wanted to be able to speak, and I wanted to be able to coach, and that's what I wanted to do. I was like, you know what? I'm going to go talk to him. Maybe he knows where to start. So not long after, we started to work together, and actually we've been able to share the stage together. And yeah. Another goal for me was to get into leadership. I was offered a role with Keller Williams in Winnipeg to be a team leader. Is there anybody who's a team leader with Keller Williams here? Is there anyone who used to be a Keller Williams team leader? Okay, we got a few, so you guys all understand? This is a fun job. No, for real. It's a super rewarding job, but it is hard. Right? Would you guys agree? Super rewarding, super hard. Yeah. I felt I wasn't ready, but I did it anyways. And we were consistently top 5 in Canada for growth. We doubled the agent count while I was there. I was able to help others remember the agents. I remember, like, my first year, there was one guy, he just starting, same time as me. In his first year, he would tell me where he was at with his production. I think in his first year, he reached 140 grand of GCI. I remember this other girl, she was struggling just like I had. She was struggling, and I knew she had potential, and I'm like, I'm never going to make somebody feel small. So if you want to do this, let's make it happen. And we set her up with a team. She went and spoke with the team. She decided to go on the team, and she's now on track to make like 200 GCI in her second year. With the pandemic, that made it a little bit difficult to travel, do certain things. It made it difficult on all of us, I think, right? Yeah, and I just felt like I was no longer really living the life that I wanted. I remember just having this title, and I did enjoy what I was doing, but what I realized, I was no longer in alignment with the owners. I was no longer empowered. I was building a dream for somebody else, basically. And I had no leverage. I think we talked about leverage this week, I think, right? Just like when you're running a team, like leverage is important, and we didn't have leverage, and it was super hard. And it burnt me out completely. Like full-on meltdown, burnout last year, not good. There was a previous team leader who understood what I was going through. He had reached out. We started talking. Obviously, he understood because it's tough, right, guys? Yeah, okay. So after a long while of research, I decided to look into a different option. I did a lot of research on this, and I decided to take action, and I decided to leave the safety of this role, and I made the decision to move to EXP, and right now we're working on building our group within Canada, and also while taking some time for myself, to take some time off for me to recover from my burnout. Guys, I thought I was going to be so much longer. Like, I am doing good. I just want to mention that. Joel, where's Joel? Are you proud? I don't know where he is, but perfect. Okay. I'm going to do this. Okay. You know what? This is what we're going to do. I'm going to get you guys to partner up with somebody. Like right now. You got a partner? Okay, cool. I want you guys, if you guys listened at the beginning, you actually wrote down things that you want. I want you guys to each share with each other something that you want to achieve. Anything at all. Personal. I know we want to talk about business. Let's talk about something for your personal life. No, you have to go find someone. There's a lady right there. So if only one person has had a chance to share, just make sure you switch it up. All right. Does anyone else want to share something? Okay, go. that. Anyone else? One more person. Okay, cool. I love that. All right. I want you all to close your eyes. I want you guys to think of that thing that you want. We just talked about it. We shared.
Is this good? Is it far enough? Will it catch it there? Okay. Okay, sure.
How do you feel?
Oh, wait. Let me
What does it
Put it
bring
on.
you?
Okay. I'll let you put it in the left side.
Oh, wait. Let's go over the shoulder. There we go.
All right. And they'll turn it on when I get out there.
All right, now.
Great.
Oh, we're good. Now I'd like you to think about one thing that you can do today to help you go after that goal of yours. Just one thing that you can do today. Here's my little scanning code. I just made this. I'm really proud of. So if you can scan it, just to add some accountability, I'd like you guys to actually send me a DM on Instagram or on Facebook, or if you have my number, you can text me. I want you guys to share what's the goal and what's the thing you did today to help you get you closer, or even just message me and say I did it. Can you guys do that? Hopefully it works. I don't know. It might not. Sorry, but I'm up there. I also look like I have no friends on Instagram because it got hacked, and I promise I'm a real person. Facebook says I'm not. Yeah, I know, because they put that down. So it's actually Cure_Stephanie for the Instagram one. All right, I'm going to finish with this. I'd like you all to embrace everything about your story, and I want you to share it with others. We all have this unique gift to share our own story and journey, and by sharing with others, we have an opportunity to help others overcome the same challenges as well. Your story got you here today, and I believe that you are exactly where you're supposed to be, whether it is clear to you or not just yet. Thank you.